Hello and welcome back to an episode of Bantz with Lawrencia. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing great. For today's episode, I want to talk about Nollywood actress Stella Damasus. Now, for some of you who don't know Stella Damasus, she is an iconic Nollywood actress. She's one of those pioneers of Nollywood. She is versatile. Stella can cry, Stella can laugh, Stella can act the rich, the poor. Like, Stella is very, very good. I love the movies. Like, Stella is one of those people you see on the poster and you want to watch the movie. Now, for a very long time, Stella has not been acting because she relocated to the US. Now, the relocation was the bone of contention because Stella was previously married. She is a widow. She was previously married to Jaye Abodorin. Now, Jaye, according to reports, was playing basketball. He slumped and passed. So that was very sudden. Stella had 2 kids, very young, because she married early. So she was a widow with 2 small children. After that, Stella still got back into the movie industry. She was still acting, very active in the movie industry, and there were speculations that her husband's people didn't like her. According to the story, they took everything from Stella, so Stella had to work, according to the story, to be able to take care of her kids. Now, we're just sitting and minding our business. We love Stella's movie. We're thinking, okay, Stella is beautiful, she's gorgeous. Now, news surfaced online that Stella is dating her friend's husband, Daniel. I can't even pronounce his whole name. Apologies. So, and Daniel was married to Nollywood actress Doris Simmons. Now, people are like, what do you mean? Because Stella got into movie production and had featured Doris Simmons in one of her movies. So people are thinking, there's no way, because Stella had been to Doris's house and Doris has also been to Stella's house. And Daniel, who is a movie producer, I think he directed the movie that Stella produced. So that was how they got into the whole mix, according to reports online. So when that report surfaced, people said there's no way Stella can date her friend's husband. Like, it is not possible. Stella is too classy. Stella is, she could date any person. Why Daniel? Ladies and gentlemen, we're just sitting and minding our business. We heard that Stella had relocated to the US with Daniel and Doris Simmons' son. Now, Doris, the son was about, I think, 10, 11 years old at that point, or even less than 10 years old at that point. Doris came out online crying that she was not aware that Stella had not just traveled with her son. Stella married her husband. Her husband filed for divorce from her. She was still trying to wrap her head around the whole thing. This man married Stella and took their son, her only child, to America with Stella and her 2 kids. People were not happy because they said, it's not just enough that you marry somebody's husband. Why take her child? Even if this man is telling you that he's going to take this child, why not at least inform Doris, who you once had, if not a friendship, but like a professional working relationship with her? You could ask, like, okay, your husband is saying that, yes, I married your husband, but your husband wants us to move your child to the US. Are you okay with that? According to the story, Daniel actually forged Doris's signature, because for you to travel to the US, you have to have like a consent from both parents. So he actually forged her signature, saying that she consented to the whole thing. Doris was crying online. In fact, the Yoruba movie industry was in turmoil because every one of them supported Doris, and some people were thinking, okay, especially the English actors, that's what they call them anyway, not me. Some of the English actors were thinking, okay, or were saying at that point that Daniel is a grown man. Why is everybody blaming Stella? Daniel, being a grown man, decided to leave his wife and kidnap his child and relocated to America with Stella. So why is everybody putting the blame on Stella? Stella got so much heat and hatred for that, because they said, listen, you should know better. You're a woman, you're a mother. regardless of whatever, even if, okay, the relationship with Daniel and Doris has ended, why don't you have like a sit down? Because at the end of the day, you're going to be taking care of this woman's child. Courtesy demand that you at least have a conversation with her. Now, Stella and Daniel relocated to the US. They started playing house, blended family. People thought everything was okay. They were posting online, peppering people, peppering Doris Simmons. They were really living the American dream at that point. Daniel went into movie production. Stella was thinking that she was going to go to America. She was going to blow, get into Nollywood, dominate Hollywood and dominate Hollywood. But reality quickly set in. She said she did a whole lot of audition, but she was not getting roles. So she had to do normal jobs that everybody does in America. I think that puts a strain on their relationship because Daniel thinking, okay, I'm a producer, I'm this, I'm that, so he couldn't. Normally, if you're in America, you come down from your high horse, regardless of what you think. You're in Nigeria, you have to come down. If it's taxi, you have to drive taxi, you have to do Uber, you have to do delivery, Amazon, whatever you have to do to make money, you have to do the job. But I think because of these are two legendary people who had made money, I think they were not really ready to stoop low to do some of those jobs because they were known faces. And also because of the controversy surrounding the way that they relocated, I don't think they were willing to do menial jobs to survive. That put a strain on their relationship. According to Stella, she said that she went to Nigeria for one of movie production role, and then she came back and she saw that Daniel had moved out. Before you know, she said she found out on YouTube that her marriage had ended. She said she was blindsided. She didn't know anything. There was no problem. The way Stella, I think she felt guilty because I don't think she was willing to accept the fact that she snatched somebody else's husband, and maybe the problem that he was having with the first wife is what she was experiencing. I don't think she was really ready to face that reality at that point. So she came out and she made it look as if she didn't know anything. She was not aware. There was no problem. They were one big happy family. And then this man just woke up one day and filed for divorce. She said he filed for divorce. She said she was on a show. She was on, I think, a show, and Daniel granted an interview and said that they are divorced, or they filed for divorce or something like that. She said that was when she found out that they were divorcing. Now people were like, wow, Daniel, you must be the problem. Like, you married Doris Simmons, you divorced her. You married Stella, you divorced her. Like, what is going on? You are the common denominator in this whole thing. Stella was married, yes, her husband died, so we can't really put that on Stella. You that had married Doris, you divorced her, and now you marry Stella thinking, okay, she's better, so you must be the problem. Daniel didn't say anything. He just maintained his silence, moved. But even at that, people were laughing at Stella because they said, you snatched somebody's husband and you couldn't even keep that husband. See the way he disgraced you. According to you, you didn't even know that there was problem in the marriage. Just like the way that I think she was trying to recreate Doris's experience, because Doris said that she didn't know what happened. She didn't even know there was problems, that she just woke up one day and she heard that he had married Stella and they relocated with her child to the US. So I think Stella was trying to portray that narrative also, but it backfired because a whole lot of people were not forgiving Stella. They said, for the fact that, let's say you married somebody's husband, it happens every day. People end marriages, people elope, people marry their best friend's husband. So it's not new, but the fact that you took somebody's child without their consent, that was what Nigerians were not willing to forgive Stella of. So since then, Stella has been explaining. Nobody was willing to listen. I think she recently granted an interview where she started talking about her experience in America. I didn't watch the full interview, but maybe during that interview she had said certain things that got back to Daniel. Maybe it was edited out because we didn't get to see this clip. Maybe for whatever reason they edited that part out. But word got back to Daniel, who, by the way, had married again. Daniel she's a serial marrier. He had remarried, and they have a child right now. So Daniel is in his third marriage, is enjoying his third marriage, and maybe word got back to him because the wife also is into movie production. So I am very sure that maybe Stella, because Stella is acting, she's currently in Nigeria producing or starring in a movie by Kemi Adetiba. So maybe word got back to to Daniel, or maybe the wife, and Daniel decided to set the record straight. Daniel came online and made a shocking revelation. Remember when Stella was screaming and shouting and explaining that she didn't know that they had problems, she didn't know that he was filing a divorce? Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel mentioned or said that Stella actually was the one that filed for divorce. He brought email evidence. Stella actually sent email to Daniel to say, listen, this is not going to work out. You've moved out of the house, so let's be an adult and let's proceed with the divorce filing. She even followed up with another email to say, just in case you haven't received my previous email, I am just sending you this as a reminder for you to send an address, because according to her, he moved out and she doesn't know where he is, so she wanted to serve him divorce papers. People were like, how? Stella told us that Daniel filed for divorce. So everybody was now scratching their heads like, Stella, say something. But Daniel also mentioned that if she makes another statement, he said one of the reasons why he moved out was because Stella was abusive to his son. He said that he had to cover the boy with makeup to cover some bruises that she or maybe the children had inflicted on his son. That was why he moved out of the house. And Stella is making it look as if he's the bad person. He said that he's tired of hiding. He's going to come out and say everything. And if Stella makes pim, if Stella opens her mouth to say, oh, Daniel is a lie, or Daniel, what you said is true, that he is going to release every evidence that he has. And we are here for it. Stella, talk. We want the full story, because at this point it is Daniel and Stella that knows what happened or knew what happened in America. They know why they separated or why they got divorced. We were just getting breadcrumbs from these two people. So we want Stella to say something so that Daniel can give us the full gist of what is going on. Now, this has generated a whole lot of conversation online, because people are saying that, would you marry somebody with a child, knowing that you're going to maltreat that person's child? Because at the end of the day, the way that Daniel's or Doris Simon's son was taken to America, that boy obviously will miss his mother, and maybe he will be acting out, taking it out on Stella and the children. So maybe there's going to be friction, because this is a child that was living with the mother and was literally kidnapped. So he would want to talk to the mother, and maybe Daniel, because of the whole drama on social media, preventing him from speaking to the mother, and Stella stepping in as a stepmom, and he is saying, no, you're not my mother. He's acting out. And as Nigerian parents, now maybe she wanted to discipline him and it ended badly. The question is, would you marry somebody with a child, knowing that there's going to be there's going to be friction? Because at the end of the day, you're not the parent of that person. You can't really tell. You can't even discipline them. If you have children and those are your kids, you can discipline them. You can do whatever you want to do with them, because those are your children. But let's say somebody else's children who is acting out, I don't think you would, regardless of what you do in that situation, you are going to get the short end of the stick. I remember somebody some years ago was trying to introduce me to somebody, and the person had a son who is, about 10, 11, and I'm like, no, this son is grown. He's not even living here. This, that. I said, listen, there's no way. You cannot win in that situation, because if you say, no, this boy is not going to come to my house or our house, because I don't want him acting out. You're going to look like a bad parent. And then if the boy comes to the house and is acting out and you're staying out of it, you're also going to be a bad parent. If you then decide to discipline the boy, you cannot win. So I understand maybe people are bashing Stella, and Daniel is also angry that maybe Stella disciplined the boy and resulted to maybe an injury or something like that. Would you marry somebody with a child, regardless whether a man or woman, knowing that you can't play daddy, you can't play mommy, you can't discipline, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what you do, you're still going to get the short end of the stick? Would you go ahead and do that? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching today's episode. Please like, and share. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.